Hey there. So today it's Saturday, May 14th, 2016 at 10:13 p.m. What's the day by you? Hi. This is pretty crazy to see you so long ago. Today is January 13th, 2018. So I wanted to ask you a few questions since you're the future me, and I wanted to know how things are going to turn out and if you had any insight to give. So let's get started. Yeah. All right. You've got some questions to ask, so let's jump right in. Hit me with it. So far, today, you are 308 days on T, so a little over 10 months. How far along are you now in your transition? So how far along am I in my transition? So actually, as of today, in 2018, I should be about, oh boy, July. I should be 2 years and 4 months on testosterone, but I'm actually 8 months off of testosterone. I ended up stopping hormone replacement therapy on April 25th, 2017. Yeah. So now that you're farther along in your transition, what is your favorite T change? So that's what's going on. But if we wanted to go back and talk specifically about T changes before we kind of get into the evolution of where my gender identity is now and maybe why I stopped taking testosterone, I would have to say my favorite T change overall would have to be, I don't know. There's a lot of changes that I'm really happy about that may not necessarily have to do with like the physical changes that happened on testosterone. Like for example, a non-physical change that I'm really happy that happened would be the fact that I changed my name and that I still go by he, him pronouns. That's something that I feel really confident and happy about. But as far as testosterone goes, towards the end of when I was on testosterone, I was happy that my hips were starting to narrow out. I was realizing that I don't think I was necessarily losing weight in pounds, but my waist went down an entire size. And with certain shirts that I used to wear before, where my love handles would be really obvious, that it started to kind of narrow out, and I was beginning, not 100% in any way, but I was beginning to kind of get that inverted T shape that men usually have, which is like the broad shoulders and then a smaller waist, whereas cis women, they have the, boobs and then big bottoms. Awesome. And what's your least favorite T change? So my least favorite T change would have to be the half like facial hair that decided to come in. And how come you don't like it? I find that that's really annoying that now that I've been off of T for 8 months, I think it's really annoying that now I have and I have hair in the most random of places. Like I have sideburns, and then like I can get a mustache, but it takes a hot minute for it to grow in. But I think the most annoying facial hair that I have is right here. I have this like awkward patch. So like I really don't like that. I had an extraordinarily hairy stomach. I mean, I looked like a frickin' bear. But luckily I shaved that off like a while ago, and it's been really slow to come in. Also, I was really upset. Something that I really struggled with is that my leg hair didn't really come in. It was really nuts. I mean, I barely had any leg hair for like the almost 2 years that I was on it. I mean, you could be standing close to me and still barely see it. So that was something that I really struggled with back then. And now I don't really care because I'm gender fluid. It's not my main priority or concerned to pass as male anymore. Gotcha. So is there anything unexpected that's come along with being on testosterone that you didn't see at this point at the 10-month mark? Were there any unexpected T changes? Honestly, I would say the sex drive aspect was a lot more intense than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be on the level that it was. For people that are in the transmasculine community, you hear that your sex drive is going to go up and, you know, whatever. But I feel that mine, much, you know, not uncommon, but I feel like my sex drive just completely skyrocketed. Awesome. And I was not expecting that at all. I feel like I was not prepared for what that was going to look like. So that was pretty jarring to be like, what's going on right now? So how do you feel about your voice now? Because I know at this point in time, you're really unhappy. You know, it's been 10 months and you still kind of sound like this. So now that you're further along, how do you feel with your speaking voice? So how do I feel about my speaking voice? Well, I mean, if you listen to me now talking to you and where your voice is now and how I sound now, literally nothing has changed. Being able to look back at how intricate my process of detailing my transition, I would say that my voice literally stopped changing at 6 months on testosterone. It was quite dramatic considering how high my speaking voice was before. It has dropped multiple octaves, but speaking wise, it's stayed the same for a very long time. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Now that I identify as gender fluid, I don't want a super low voice that's gonna put me in the male category and only be able to leave me there. Not that I do this to my voice, but if I wanted to, I could lower my voice a little bit, and I have in certain situations, whether it be for safety or whatever, I have been able to lower my voice. And usually when I try to do it, it sounds really bad, so I don't know that I want to try, but sometimes if I lower my voice just a little bit, it's not as high as it is before. I mean, it's not like, hey, what's up, really low. But, I mean, yeah, from hey up here to hey, what's up, my voice is a little lower. You know, I don't really care. It is what it is. But that's definitely something I struggled with my whole time that I was on T. So, yes. And has singing gotten any easier? Has singing gotten easier for me? Oh, what a loaded question. That has been easily the hardest thing that I've had to deal with while being just in terms of my transition in general and how testosterone affected my body. The bottom line is that my singing voice, I lost an entire octave on the top and then I gained half an octave on the bottom. And being a professional singer and musical theater major and all that jazz, it's still something that I really struggle with and that really just kind of ravages my soul that I'm not able to sing the songs that I used to anymore, and knowing that I will never be able to hit the notes that I used to anymore. So it hasn't necessarily, no, for real, it has not at all gotten any easier. But I've kind of been dabbling with singing, and I've found that there is still a voice there that I still am able to sing, but it's nowhere near the technical level that it was before, and obviously range-wise, it's not ever going to be where it was before. So that's honestly something that I still really struggle with. So, how do you feel your self-esteem has progressed? Because I know at this point in time, you're still kind of trying to figure out your body and understand how it works with these new hormones in your body. So how do you feel about your self-esteem now and just about yourself in general? Are you happy? How do I feel about my self-esteem and myself in general? Jesus, that's a big question. So as far as my self-esteem goes and whether or not I'm happy with, the way I look or whatever, I would say for the most part, yeah. I mean, for me, the best part about being gender fluid is because my gender is so complex, and I always say that I'm not a pizza, I don't fit in a box, that I am able to flow between presenting as male and female based on how I feel. So there are some days, some situations where I feel more male or I feel more female, and I'm able to present in that way, and that makes me really comfortable. Because honestly, one of the struggles that that would pop up occasionally when I identified specifically as male, when I specifically took on the label and identity as FtM, which stands for female to male, was I would find that there were brief moments in my life where I felt like I had to suppress my feminine side. That there would be fleeting moments where I'd be like, man, I really wish I could wear eyeliner, or, oh man, like I wish I could wear leggings, or even certain ways of socially interacting with women. It really bothered me that I wasn't able to react and interact with people in the same way that I did before when I identified as female. So it was something that was kind of like very, very minutely in the back of my mind. And now that I identify as gender fluid, I feel that I'm able to embrace every single part of my identity, and I don't have to stifle anything anymore. So with that being said, I think it's time to show the other side of myself. What do you think? Okay, I'm back. See, this is the way that I'm a lot more comfortable dressing. Well, actually, maybe not 100%. Okay, hang on one second. Okay, now I feel better that I have my favorite dress on. Hey, congratulations. So, with that being said, are you finally happy with what you see in the mirror? Short answer, yes. Long answer, meh. Basically what I mean by that is when I look in the mirror and I am presenting as female, I feel confident, and sometimes depending on how my makeup is, I can feel really beautiful, and I feel that I pass as a woman, and that makes me feel really good about myself. And then other times when I look in the mirror, when I'm just existing as a human being, neither presenting male or female and just living neutrally as myself, I don't necessarily feel as great. And then when I'm presenting as male, usually my idea of me presenting as male to the outside world is going to look either very butch or I'm going to come off as androgynous. So when I'm dressed like that, sometimes I feel really confident as well. But again, like I mentioned earlier, I have a lot of self-esteem issues. So it's not necessarily I'm always feeling great about myself or I'm always feeling bad about myself, but usually it's a pretty big teeter-totter, and if it's on one end, then it's, up here, and then when it's on the other end, which is usually like the I hate myself and I'm worthless and ugly thing, then I'm really down there. But I'm getting better. When I was on T, I really started to like what I was seeing in the mirror. I was happy to see that I was starting to look more masculine, and now that I'm being able to express myself in a feminine way, I'm really happy with that side of myself as well. Now, at this point, is there anything else that you'd like to do to alter your appearance to help you feel more comfortable in your body? No. I had top surgery on August 8th, 2016, which means that I had my breasts removed. And that is the only surgery that I've had or that I want. And I feel like that was such a life-changing decision, and I do not regret it in the least. I mean, it completely changed the way that I look at myself, and it makes me feel so confident, and I feel just so in love with my body. And I honestly love the fact that I'm able to wear, you know, this outfit and wear this very feminine dress that has like a pretty, I'm not going to get up and show, but it has like a pretty low cut thing. And honestly, like if I were to pull it to the if I were to pull it to the side a little bit, you would be able to see my top surgery scars, and that's okay with me. This is something that I really needed to feel complete in my body, and I couldn't be more happy that that's a decision that I decided to make. Yay! Success! Yes! Amazing! Amazing, amazing! So, something that you've been struggling with as of late in these 10 months on T is your ability to pass in society as male. Now, I assume you're doing that now, right? What do you think? Awesome. So how does it feel to finally be seen as who you are by society as a whole? Obviously, when I'm dressed like this, absolutely not am I able to pass in any fashion of being a male. And even when I am not presenting as female and I'm just in my male androgynous gender expression, I'm not passing either. The sad thing is the 2 years that I was on T, I passed maybe like 10 times. It was really sad. It made me feel really horrible about myself. But that was also, that's kind of a catch-22 because I wasn't passing to society as a whole, but all my friends and family 100% respect my identity and love me and call me the pronouns that I want and identify, which is, like I said earlier, I identify with he, him pronouns. So even when I am dressed like this, I still relate and wish to be called those pronouns. And the big question is, how is it using the bathrooms? Because I know right now it's really difficult for you to use public restrooms and you still default to using the women's restroom. Do you have any anxiety going in them anymore? So as far as bathroom anxiety, do I have trouble going into the men's room? 100%, 1,000, million, bajillion, trillion %. I would never walk into a men's room looking like this in my life because I don't want violence to happen against me. And then as far as just being kind of neutral dressed, I still don't use the men's room. I'm not comfortable with that at all. Fact that I don't have boobs anymore, that people don't care. People don't care. But I will say there was a period in my transition where I was using the men's room pretty much all the time. I remember I used it at frickin' LaGuardia Airport, but that was always something that was really scary to me because I thought once I had top surgery that amazingly and overnight or whatever that I would just start passing as male, and unfortunately that was not the case. Any clarity that you have now maybe about things that you were confused about at this point in time that have now been illuminated to you? So is there any clarity that's been gained? Oh my God, yes. There were a lot of things that I was confused about up until this point of where I am now in January 2018. And yeah, I've definitely had a lot of breakthroughs and my world has been illuminated in the sense that now I fully know who I am. I fully embrace my gender fluid identity and I'm not hiding parts of myself anymore because I felt like there was a little bit of me that was stifling who I was. And I wasn't really aware of it at the time when it was happening. It's not like I was pretending to be anything that I wasn't. I 100% identified as male. But as I came to grow, as I began to evolve as a human being, I realized that that wasn't the complete picture of my life and that there was more to be discovered. So I think that's really important to note, that I wouldn't go back to where I was 10 months on T, or even a year on T, or 3 months, or deciding to go on T. I wouldn't go back. There might be some questions that I would have and say, maybe consider, your singing voice and stuff like that. But, there's changes that have lasted, that are still sustained after being off of T, that I'm grateful that have happened. So yeah, there's been a lot of clarity that has been gained. I see, that must be nice to know. What a relief. So is there anything at this time that you wish you would have known? Anything at this time, so talking to you, little 10-month-old Rylan, that you wish you would have known? And yeah, that would just be that who you are, the femininity that you sometimes feel, you don't have to suppress that. A great deal of my time on testosterone was me trying to prove to the outside world, and sometimes to myself, that I was masculine enough and that I could hang with the boys, and if only my voice dropped, then I would be the perfect guy and everything would be okay. And I realized that's not the case. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It has to do with the way that I look at myself and my gender identity and what I equate that to. So I wish I would have known that. I wish I would have known that you don't have to pin your self-worth on whether or not you have a mustache or beard, or whether or not your voice is low enough, that your identity, regardless of what you look like, is valid. And that's still something that I carry with me today, that even though I can be dressed like this, that the parts of me that identify as male are still valid. Who gives a frickin' shit if I have a wig on right now? That doesn't make me any less valid in my trans identity or my fluidity in my gender. Do you have any advice that you'd like to give for the future you? And do I have any advice that I would give to my future self? Hooey, that's a big question, isn't it? That's a hard question to ask. I really think it would just be to continue to be you, and try and use YouTube and your writing and whatever other way that you can to be an advocate for the trans community, to help other people learn and understand and perhaps discover more about themselves. I don't have any advice on get a new wig that's curly and black. That's that's not the advice that I would suggest for myself. I would say continue on the path that you're doing, because I think I'm finally getting to a point with my YouTube and my advocacy for the trans community, that I'm starting to make a difference in people's lives, and that means so much in the world to me, that's what I want to continue. I'm really happy for you, Rylan. That's really cool. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me. It's really great to see that you're finally happy and that you're feeling more attuned to your body. Well, this has been amazing, kind of weird, well, kind of a lot weird, but this was really cool to sit down and talk to you and see what's up, almost, what is it, a year later? I think that's pretty cool. So, bye. Bye.